Hi, guys. Welcome to a very impromptu episode of Nusra Talks. আমি recently success নিয়ে অনেক চিন্তা করছি. I've been thinking about what we have been conditioned to believe success to be, which is the hustle culture, right? Hustle, 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 hustle ছাড়া আর কোনো কিছুই নেই। আমরা যত বেশি দৌড়াবো, তত বেশি আমরা successful. আমরা যত কম দৌড়াবো, আমরা যত বেশি rest করবো, relax করবো, আমরা তত কম successful. It's also something that has been really drilled into us, at least our generation, since we were children. Amader, like একটা থেকে আরেকটা coaching এ দৌড়াইতে থাকো, and constantly there's just this pressure to keep doing, to keep achieving, to keep ঠিক আছে ও লেভেলে আটটা সাবজেক্ট না নিলে you're a failure, এ লেভেলে মিনিমাম চারটা সাবজেক্ট না থাকলে you're a failure, etc. And when we are conditioned to এত ছোট বয়স থেকে when we are conditioned এই ধরনের practices নিয়ে তখন কি হয় আমাদের adulthoodেও এই জিনিসগুলো show up করে, and it shows up in ways like where we feel guilty to rest, to relax. আমরা নিজেদেরকেও এটা believe করে ফেলি যে to rest or to relax is unsuccessful. It means you're lazy. And recently, in the last few years, I've been grappling with this idea, this concept, because I realized, especially আমি যখন বাংলাদেশের বাইরে মুভ করলাম, তখন আমি রিয়ালাইজ করলাম যে ও মাই গড, আমি তো রেস্ট নিতেই পারি না। আমি মানে রেস্ট নাও শুরু করলে আই স্টার্ট বেরিটিং মাইসেলফ। আমার নিজের মধ্যে যে ইনার টকটা আছে ওটা খুব নেগেটিভ হয়ে যায়। And that made me start really grasping the idea of redefining success for myself, letting go of all the negative definitions of success that has been drilled into me, and sort of like redefining, relearning what success can mean for me. It doesn't have to mean that for the rest of the world. It doesn't even have to mean that for you. But I think for me, I am learning to become okay to be at my own pace, especially with all the societal pressure, especially with all kinds of pressure. For example, I'm just the example day. I've talked about this before. I'm starting over in a new country, and I'm a lawyer. So I'm a lawyer license tanite. It's going to take some time. It is taking some time. And হয়তো বা আমি যেহেতু almost 3 years now that I've moved to this country, আমি আরো আগে lawyer licenseটার processটা নাও শুরু করে দিতে পারতাম, শেষ করে দিতে পারতাম. I would have had a license way before. The reason I don't is because আমি move করার পর there was a huge space, huge period of time যখন I was really grappling with a lot of mental health issues. কারণ আমার জন্য মুভটা wasn't as easy. আমি আমার আব্বা আমাকে রেখে আসছি, ফ্রেন্ডস, কমিউনিটি সবকিছু ছেড়ে নতুন একটা দেশে মুভ করা, একদম ফার্স্ট থেকে স্টার্ট করা, ইট ওয়াজন্ট ভেরি ইজি ফর মি। অ্যান্ড সো আমার ওই প্রসেসটা শুরু করা যে আইল স্টার্ট গেটিং দ্য লাইসেন্স, ওয়ার্কিং টুয়ার্ডস ইট, ওটা একটু ডিলে হয়ে গেছে। অ্যান্ড till now, even today, I found myself beating myself up যে আমি কি করতেছি, I'm a lawyer, I don't have the license yet, oh my god, Nusrat, you're such a failure. So এইসব narrative তখন মাথায় চলে আসে, and those are moments where I have to literally remind myself that every timeline is different, right? Every single timeline, আমাদের সবার timeline is different. Whether it's a woman who is choosing to have a baby very late in life, or it's a man who's choosing to start his own business when he's 55 years old. Or, for example, this is a real life example. আমি যখন বার করতেছিলাম ইংল্যান্ডে, I knew a student, যে কিনা, he was in his 60s and he was actually an established police officer. He'd just gone into retirement. উনি barrister হচ্ছিল তখন. And I said, why? You've got everything going? And he's like, I wanted to. Just as simple as that, I wanted to. And that's it. That was the whole answer. I wanted to. He wanted to. So সে 60 বছরের পরে গিয়ে বার করতেছিল. And he wanted to do that. And that's his timeline. His timeline of becoming a barrister and probably practicing is probably in his 70s, if he is practicing right now. And so it is very real, just societal, and this applies to everybody. This is not necessarily for me as a lawyer. This applies to homemakers, this applies to moms, this applies to stay-at-home moms, this applies to stay-at-home dads, this applies to the unemployed, the employed, anybody and everybody. যে societal pressures, society এমনভাবে ডিজাইন করা, it is designed to make us feel pressured to be part of the rat race. Here is your reminder that you don't need to be a part of the rat race. You get to make your own timeline, you get to enjoy your own timeline, you get to decide your own pace. হ্যাঁ, তখন মানুষ, family, in some cases spouses, in some cases children, সবাই এসে বলবে যে no, what the hell, তুমি দেখতেছো না, তোমার তো rat raceটাকে ফলো করতে হবে. You have to follow অমুক তমুক সবাই মিলে ৩ বছরের মধ্যে বার করে ফেলছে, এলএলবি পাশ করার ১ বছরের মধ্যে ব্যারিস্টার হয়ে গেছে, তোমার কেন এত টাইম লাগতেছে? অথবা অমুককে বিয়ে করার ১ বছরের মধ্যে বাচ্চা নিয়ে নিছে, তোমার কেন ৭ বছর হয়ে গেছে বিয়ে, বাচ্চা নিতেছো না? And অথবা, oh my god, how can you even imagine starting your own business at 55? মানুষ কথা বলবে, মানুষকে মুখ দেওয়া হইছে, their job is to talk. Your job and my job is to just remember that we make our own rules as long as it brings us joy. As long as it brings you joy. And I think this is just your reminder that we're all on our different journeys. We all have our own timelines. And some, like, if I could give you some practical tips to stay grounded, for example, which I use, and it doesn't necessarily always work for me, but sometimes it works for me, it is to celebrate the small wins. আমার জন্য এই সপ্তাহে just putting out Nusra Talks the podcast, because it's been a forever dream of mine. Just launching that episode has been such a big thing. Such a big thing. I mean, pura shoptah, I'm just going around with the biggest smile on my face, right? Because I did it. I did it. It might be small to a lot of people, but to me, it's so big. And so I wanted to celebrate it, right? And যখনই আমি I find myself comparing myself to other people, once again, this might not work for a lot of people, but আমার জন্য একটা জিনিস যেটা work করে is I just sit down and I start writing down the things that I've accomplished in the last 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, right? And that doesn't just have to be কি কি আমি accomplish করছি on the professional sphere and the academic sphere, but also things that I've accomplished in terms of mental health, things that I've accomplished in terms of personal growth, personal evolution. এগুলো আমার জন্য অনেক ইম্পর্টেন্ট। এগুলো আমার জন্য অনেক বড়, বড় win হিসাবে কাউন্ট করে। And then things like, oh, I've been feeling so much better mental health-wise since I started being on a diet or working out or having such and such supplements. আমার vitamin D raise হওয়ার পর আমার mental health অনেক, you know, ভালো হয়ে গেছে, etc., etc. So this is just a very loving reminder to you. If you ever feel like you're feeling behind, please, please, please come back to yourself. চুপচাপ বসে একটা জায়গায়, just literally sit down with a pen and paper or sit down with a recorder and say, you know what? This is my definition of success. What's your definition of success? Write about it. Write in my comments about it. Write to me about it. Write down on a pen and paper about it. What is your definition? Forget the world's definition. Is your definition of success a cup of coffee? Then it's a cup of coffee. That's success for you. And that's okay. Nobody gets to tell you otherwise, right? So I'd be really happy to know, what is your definition of success? If there's one thing you take away from this, it's to sit down and write down what your definition of success is, and then just start going for it. Start stacking up those few little things which will help you get to that level of success. And I will see you later on Nusrat Talks, the podcast.